Let's get gnarly today with Google's original hockey pucks in its lineup. Now this hockey puck can give you as a 10-pointer, however it's way different to the latest puck with its physical firmware updates. However, it's unknown if it will really increase your chances into the goalie. Flick pass between your router and your puck is a total game changer along the back line. This reason is because right after you set up your Google Wi-Fi puck towards a router, like one of these as a router, then basically you can add a whole lot more of these pucks towards your Wi-Fi by adding a whole defense line to your hockey team. One puck covers up to 1,500 square feet, 2 pucks cover up to 3,000 square feet, 3 pucks cover up to 4,500 square feet, and 4 pucks cover up to 6,000 square feet. A common issue between the router and the Wi-Fi point is that the router connects to your modem via Ethernet cable that translates and produces usable Wi-Fi signals for us to surf the web. The Wi-Fi point, also known as a hockey puck, but we'll call it a biscuit in this case, since many people on YouTube call it a puck. So we'll stop annoying you and we're going to call it a biscuit now. So the biscuits connect to the router. They connect to the router using its AC 1200 antennas. They provide the dual band communication in between the biscuits, so this will make them talk to each other. They don't bake each other, but they all rise like yeast. So wherever your device is in your home, all of your communications will be able to switch to where you are at. So wherever your device is located in your home, all the communications will be making sure that you get the Wi-Fi with a decent speed that you will need. When possible, I recommend hardwiring them for safe measures, so the hard work of the dual band antennas can do less work and more on sending the Wi-Fi signal out and more on the Wi-Fi data. A downside to the latest biscuit on the market, the Nest Wi-Fi, is that the Ethernet ports are only on the router, and all of the other Wi-Fi points on the second generation does not have an Ethernet port, at all costing you some money. This is a huge 5-hole for the first gen biscuit. All of the first gens on Google's lineup has a 2 gigabit Ethernet port on all points. With these fortunately Ethernet ports on the first gen biscuit, this means that anywhere in your home in the upcoming future, you can add a device and hardwire it to your network with no longer needing to buy another Nest Wi-Fi router just for that Ethernet port. A frequent question that I get is if they still need to buy an internet service provider. The answer is yes. You must pay an ISP in order for this to work and in order for you to get the Wi-Fi that you need. I do not want to repeat this again. These biscuits have the design of your Google Home Mini, also as a Amazon Echo device, and they also look like a UFO lamp. By UFO lamp, I mean this because Google had put on the first gen biscuit is a night light, and a night light is around like a ring light, not really on your ring on like a finger, but on the actual device itself. Or it's not a device, but it's the biscuit on the biscuit itself. Right where you see these lines around there, that's where it is. The latest biscuit, the Nest Wi-Fi, has a Google Assistant with it. However, there is a disadvantage with it because only the Nest Wi-Fi router really has those Ethernet ports. It's not like the first gen biscuit that I have right behind me, where there's Ethernet ports on every single Wi-Fi point. Instead, you would have to buy another Nest Wi-Fi router, and then you would have to hook it up to your mesh Wi-Fi. The first gen totally wins on that, winning the goalie. The first biscuit, the second biscuit, and the second biscuit specs, because there's actually a difference between those second biscuits. So the first gen has AC 1200, while the second gen has AC 2200 on its router. However, all of the other Wi-Fi points on the second gen is totally just like the first gen with AC 1200. AC 1200 stands for a router with 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz with a combined wireless speed of 1,200 megabytes per second and an upload speed up to 224 megabytes. AC 1200 has a maximum bandwidth up to 860 megabytes per second. So AC 2200 stands for the same router bands of 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz with a combined wireless speed up to 2,200 megabytes per second download and an upload speed up to 400 megabytes per second. AC 2200 or AC 2200 has also the same maximum bandwidth as AC 1200 at 867 megabytes per second. Many people really measure their Wi-Fi really wrong, and it's actually really annoying. So I want to recorrect you before you get that slap shot. Now hear me from this. When you measure your Wi-Fi speed with a laptop or computer, it usually has 2.4 gigahertz, as you know, which transmissions data at a slower rate for slow data. So use a 5 gigahertz compatible device such as the latest iPhones or near to the latest iPhones that are above the iPhone 7 and ahead. Also behind the scenes is that my light's dying right here, if you didn't notice. So make sure that you use a compatible device that you're able to use using 5 gigahertz to measure the most accurate Wi-Fi speed. But if you don't have any of those, then use an Ethernet cable for your laptop in order to measure it correctly. This is why you're hearing a whole lot of ISPs and a whole lot of people, including the Eero company and everything else like that, is telling you to get an Ethernet cable. But really get an Ethernet cable so then you can get the most accurate speed. And hopefully this conquers the empire from the rebels. Freezing the biscuit and giving a device a priority is possible through the Google Home app, also on the Google Wi-Fi app itself. This will give your device an advantage on your Wi-Fi network in giving it the best bandwidth in order for it to get to the other side of the arena. In the Google Wi-Fi app, you're able to go in and prioritize your Zoom meetings. Also, this does not have to be a Zoom meeting. It can be a Google Meets, it can be a Skype, or anything within the meeting platform spectrum. And just like everything else, an issue resolutes towards this problem every day, even on the prioritization feature, believe it or not. Because I'm getting on this feature that's totally amazing for whenever I'm uploading these videos, is that oftentimes, every time I upload a video and put a priority on any type of device, is that it closes up the whole network. Literally, it closes up the whole network, not giving anyone else the access towards the Wi-Fi or even to watch a YouTube video, which is pretty crazy because we need Wi-Fi mostly towards the days that we were always at home. And with it freezing all the time, it gets pretty annoying, giving it a big foul, not giving internet access and just freezing all other biscuits within the house. Upon the first gen biscuits after a couple of years, you can now ask your Google Home or even on the Google Assistant app on your phone what your Wi-Fi speed is. This will only work if you have is Google devices and also these Nest Wi-Fi or Google Wi-Fi type of routers, or these Wi-Fi biscuit points, or whatever you're gonna call them. This is a cool feature in the spectrum of GoPro's capabilities because whenever I wanna know the Wi-Fi, I just ask the assistant or even the Google Home itself around my house, such as the Google Nest Hub. And guess what, parents, because I'm not a parent yet, is that you can even pause and resume a game with a family Wi-Fi device group within the app for parental controls. And I'll have everything linked down below. The first gen hockey puck could be a 10-pointer against the Nest Wi-Fi with its overall coverage over 1,500 square feet. Ethernet on the first gen is available whenever you need it. Yes, you will need an Ethernet cable with you. With its homesteadable design, it looks like a lamp of a nightlight in the dark starry sky. Make sure to measure the Wi-Fi not with a tape measure, but with a measurement of accuracy to reach the goalie. Google integrating the Google Wi-Fi and the Nest Wi-Fi where you can just ask the speed through your Google Assistant or through your Google Home is a total game changer along the back lines. Check out these videos and mind subscribing to get your full advantage about technology. Shaka and mahalo, I'll see you on the hockey rink.